And we are on. Okay, so like I said, my man, I'm a man of science. You know, I've studied cosmology, I've studied things like human evolution, natural selection evolution, et cetera, et cetera. And I used to be a Muslim. I've read the whole Quran. I've even read Sahih Bukhari, but that's beside the point. But based off of science, you know, based off of it, you're right. We're going to have to use NASA to a certain extent because they're the ones who, you know, launch satellites up in the air, take pictures of the Earth and these other planets. But based off science, I mean, I don't see how you've drawn a conclusion that the Earth is flat. Could you explain your reasoning as to why you believe the Earth is flat, if you don't mind?
Uh, I get that because it is. The conclusion is coming from not myself. I'm not the author of this topic. Okay, I didn't create the topic. I am being brought in by an awakening to the topic. So, so once you see what it is that you have to talk about, I mean, it's that's where it is. It's right there in front of my face.
I
Uh,
mean, but at the same time, I mean, looks can be deceiving. Right now, don't get me wrong. I mean, if we stepped outside our house, like if we didn't know, if we didn't have NASA, if we didn't have cosmology, if we didn't have astronomy, et cetera, if we didn't have this level of science that we do now, I mean, I guess you could say it'd be rational to assume that the Earth is flat, but we actually have science that proves that the Earth is round. Because I mean, let's think about this logically. I mean, if the Earth was flat, if we were to travel long distances on boats and reach the end of the Earth, which there is a limit to the Earth. I mean, there would be a limit. It couldn't just go on and on and on. We'd fall over. You understand what I'm saying? So once again, I don't see like you say that this isn't you say that you've learned this from somebody. I just want
you,
to know what
you
scientific method have has this individual used or that you have used to come to this conclusion that the earth is flat.
okay? When you fall over, where do you think you're gonna fall over to?
I don't know.
Be,
I believe the earth is round. I mean, you're the one who's making the claim that the earth is flat. The burden of proof is on
and
you. So it's
okay,
up to you to prove to me that the earth is flat.
oh, no, 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 no. See, this is what cannot happen.
Yeah, okay.
Flat Earth is not something that um you have to prove to someone else. You see, flat Earth is like you either see it or you don't. So what's the problem is that we're all sharing this plane of existence. Whether we call it a globe or not, we're sharing this plane of existence. And on this plane of existence, it's plain as day right in front of your face.
Are you speaking philosophically or are you speaking from a scientific standpoint? Because philosophy and science are two totally different things to a certain extent. You know, philosophy is
Well,
pretty much so based off
here,
of, points of
we're,
views
we're,
and everything like that. Science is generally based off fact. So, I mean, like,
yeah.
okay, let me just
So,
ask you
brother,
this.
the facts I have are based on science, okay? But
Okay,
like, you're
what are
not
those
going to be
facts
able to look
okay,
through any telescope that I have. You're not going to be able to look through any digital camera that I have over this
okay.
particular phone call. So, all we're really doing is sizing up each other.
No, I
But
don't want to
but
size you up in it.
but now that's
Forgive
what
me
it
if you
is
think I'm trying
because
to do
there is no other numbers to receive. You're not going to receive it by talking about it. Like if anybody could have told me about flat Earth, I'd be sitting in your shoes, still a glober.
Okay, could you explain? Okay, well, maybe I'm on the outside looking in. Okay, because you're one of the few people I've talked to or who I have heard who have made the claim that the earth is flat. Well, I guess you could say some really extreme Christians who don't take the scientific method into consideration. They also believe the same thing due to the book of Genesis. But that's a discussion for another time. Okay, what made you come to the conclusion that the Earth is flat? Because I don't know if you mean it. That's what I'm saying. Do you mean it from you mean it from a scientific standpoint or a philosophical standpoint? That's what I mean. If you like,
Okay.
could you
Well, from a
explain that to me?
science from a science standpoint,
Okay.
um, you cannot have NASA science anywhere in your brain. You cannot have Pythagoras or Copernicus or
Hmm.
any other of those pseudoscience Gregorian scientists. You cannot have any of those scientists in your head or in your literature of anything that you're about to say or about to reveal any number. You cannot use any of those people
And why can't you use those? If you don't mind me asking, why can't you use
because
those people,
they
and why can't
don't
you use NASA?
because they don't support what it is that you're going to see with your own eyes. They are telling you the illusion of what they want you to see. You get indoctrinated by what they want you to see. The numbers that they present to you are not correct. We already have plenty of proof. The fact is that people are stuck because slavery works, colonialism worked, indoctrinated systems work
What does colonialism have to do with the claim that the Earth is flat or round?
because that's how people got indoctrinated.
Well, no, people, no, actually, are you okay? Actually, there was a
People were
time.
indoctrinated through colonialism, brother. No matter what you want to say, the egg, which with the chicken came first, the chicken or the egg. Look,
Based off
colonialism.
evolution, the egg came first because the chickens are descended of the dinosaur.
Whatever you want to talk about it, the chicken's still here, and the chicken ain't getting no respect, and so don't nobody care if it was an egg or not. Okay, the chicken ain't getting no damn respect on this flat plane. Okay, so if he wanted to tell his story about why he here, don't nobody care. Everybody want him to be fried piece. You see, so don't nobody care, right? So don't nobody care about the chicken. Don't nobody care about flat earth. Everybody is on there indoctrinated what they want you to. They told you to eat the damn chicken, and they told you to believe that the earth was round, and you're doing what they told you.
No, the reason, well, we know that the Earth is round once again based off science.
There is no science. You
Actually,
cannot
science is
look.
actually
You cannot
science is a
use.
fact.
If you use anybody who's talking about the globe, then any effort that you might be trying to achieve in this conversation on asking a flat earth or anything, you're asking me questions and then you're leaning on those teachings. What we did was we destroyed those teachings in our minds. We destroyed those teachings out of our minds because they're indoctrinated teachings. We're called breaking the chains. Those chains that they put on you they don't that aren't visual chains anymore, but they're still there on your mind. That the deception about the globe is one of the chains on the mind. So being a slave that's fed up, we're gonna break all the chains we can. And so the deception of the globe deception, okay, is where we just started to break that chain right there.
Okay, I want to
So,
ask you this. I want to ask you this: is the moon round?
nah, 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 nah. See,
No, I just want to ask the question: like, is the moon, Mars, Venus, are those places round?
ask me. Here's what you want to ask me. You are doing now. I'm not trying to put you out there like you just like everybody else. But brother, you are doing exactly what every globe head does in the middle of a conversation with a flat earther. You go from talking about this flat plane, not getting your answers
Well,
because you're not
plains are
going to get.
flat. That's a. I would agree with you that. I mean, for the most part, plains are fact if you don't have any mountains around. But that has nothing to do whatsoever with the Earth.
And then you immediately go to the moon and the stars and all that kind of stuff. There are steps.
Okay.
There are steps. There were steps when they had to indoctrinate you to make you believe in the globe. They went steps on you. They took steps on you. They took steps on me. Okay? So because we're born not to believe in that crap. We born with the truth, but we got indoctrinated out of what we already were knowing. So there is a science and there's a simple science to prove NASA's numbers are totally wrong.
It's not just really
So what
based off numbers. I mean, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna break it down to you. This
Okay.
is how we became flat earthers. NASA is talking about there's curvature at every in all four directions, and it's 6 miles in all four directions. There's 18 feet of curvature. These numbers have changed already since we started talking about flat Earth. They had already changed the numbers. They have made a mockery out of us. They have made all of the numbers point to 666 point and basically it's all sixes and it's all 666. It's the whole list of 666 shit that NASA has put out, okay? And they're making a mockery. Just like they made a mockery with all of the data, flight data from the last moon so-called landing, that they lost that and they can't find it, and that's a mockery. That's a mockery because they know that they got to answer some questions and they don't want to answer no questions. All right. And ain't nobody really going to be asking no
Well,
questions. We're
even
going to
if
be
we
asking.
didn't, I mean, well, I'm gonna have to say this, my man. Even if we did not land on the moon, which I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theorists who have made that claim. I mean, that still doesn't disprove that the Earth is round.
I'm going to get to somewhere in my
Because I
point.
mean, if you take a lunar eclipse,
All
for
right. All right.
example,
All right. Let me get to my point.
okay,
The situation is the numbers that NASA presented that we were indoctrinated by, we found these numbers to be totally incorrect, not valid. And then once we tried to dig deeper into NASA, we found that the pictures are CGI. The pictures are hand painted. Not only did we know this and we found this out scientifically, okay, the people have confessed that the pictures are fake. The dude who made the fake pictures, he announced that the pictures are fake. So it's not a secret. What's this?
okay, even if that, well, here,
Hold tight, hold
this
tight,
is
hold
what I'm
tight,
trying to
hold
say.
tight. Just remember where you at. I'm coming with it. The numbers that NASA gave us is wrong. So now we find ourselves like well, who else is there to lean on as far as knowing anything about the Earth, right? If NASA was all we had, right, and they pretty much is lying to us about everything, that's not even up for debate. They are lying to us about everything.
Okay, even if they were okay, I'm gonna put it to you like
Green
this.
screening and CGIing everything. It's not no, and even if no, brother, they lying. Deception is deception, and that's where we breaking the chain. So we're not dealing with no deception. Anything that has to do with what our Earth looks like from space, from low orbit, whatever the case, it does not need to be. It does not need to be held back from us, okay, by an agency who releases the information in a deceptive way. So that's what they've done. The cold turkey busted on all of that, on all of that. So so here's the thing. So now we go out and we start trying to do our own tests. All right. Perspective viewing has nothing to do with what you see and what the other person sees and what the other person sees. That's not perspective viewing. Perspective viewing is scientific. Perspective viewing is when a lamp is on the back of a train and that train goes straight down the train tracks. When the light becomes dim on the back of that train from that lamp, it does not mean that the lamp has gone out. What it means is your eyes can only see so far, prospectively. Is the lamp still on? Yes, the lamp is still on. Way down there in the hallway effect, in the perspective viewing effect of the train tracks. Did the train track go over a curve? No. How do we know? Because the man who builds the train tracks, who I also investigated my own self, they don't appoint for any curvature when they're building the train tracks. In America, from California to the East Coast, there's more than 5,000 miles of train tracks. None of them appoint for any curvature. Where is the curvature in the train
But you're
tracks?
missing. Hold on, look, man. Can I please?
I'm not missing nothing. Listen, if you looking for curvature, you're not gonna
Can
find
you
it.
at least let me express my point, sir?
Finding it after 6 miles.
Sir,
It's not.
can you at least let me make a point?
Make the point. Did you hear my point? There's
Yes, I
no curve.
understand. No, I'm just. But here's your problem, and you're not looking at it from a
Nah,
rational
nah,
standpoint.
nah, nah. I don't got no problem. You got to admit. You got to admit before we can even go on to the next thing, brother. You got to admit that you either haven't done the research on train tracks.
No, there's curvature. No, there is curvature.
No, no,
You
no,
want to
no.
know why?
No, check it.
Have you ever seen a
I can
ship
send you this
arrive? Have you
information.
ever
I can
watched
send
a
you this.
ship
No,
arrive
don't
to a
freestyle
port?
on me. Don't freestyle on me. I can send you this information. You're not going to find no curvature when it comes to the construction of train tracks. Do
No,
not play
forget.
with me.
Hold on, forget the train tracks, my man. Here, can I?
Nah, we're not
I
going to
let
forget
you
the train
talk.
tracks
I let
because
you
there's
talk. Can I
5,000
talk,
miles of train tracks, and that means that there's 5,000 miles of no curvature.
sir? I let you talk. Can you please let me talk?
When you admit that there's no curvature due to the train tracks, but you can't do that because you haven't done no research.
Well, okay. Once again, what you're doing is you're poisoning the well. That's a fallacy. You can't sit here and poison the well.
Bruh,
Here, can I?
I know
Can
the
you let
Earth.
me? Can listen?
I know the globe Earth.
Look, man,
You
brother to
don't know
brother.
the flat
Hold on
Earth.
one second. One
If you want
second.
to ask questions, you got to ask questions according to you've done some kind of study and
Can
some
we be?
kind of
Can we
research.
look, brother to brother, man? Can we at least eat? Can you at least let me express my point, man? Because I let you go on for about 12, 13 minutes. Can we? Can you at least let me make a point, please?
What point are you? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever stood in front of a port where ships arrive?
Okay. Are
Have you?
you going to tell me about the distance of a ship from the beach and
Have you ever noticed that a ship, at even at great distance, doesn't just appear out of nowhere? Have you always noticed that it?
have you noticed there's a camera called the digital
No,
P9?
this is based off eyes. This isn't based off any camera, any cellular phone, or anything. If you watch a ship and you notice that it's heading towards the port, you can't see it from far, far distance. It always emerges like it's sunken. And you want to know why it does that? This is a scientific fact.
I
It's
don't care
because
why
the
it does
Earth
that.
is
I don't
round.
care why. I don't
And
care
if
why
you
it does
look at
that.
an
You know why I don't
eclipse,
care?
and if you look
Because
at an eclipse, hold on, look at the eclipse. Oh my goodness, man.
nah, look, man. Because this is like lesson one for flat earthers, and it's like you're on lesson one. I'm
No,
I'm
look,
I'm,
I'm,
I'm like
I'm just saying my position. Look, I'm based in my position. With all due respect, what's your name again, man?
brother.
This is
There's
look.
no you're not gonna reveal that there's no curvature. There's no curvature, brother.
There is. Listen. If you go back, look. Let's just be rational about this and look at this from an objective standpoint.
Being
Let's take.
irrational. There's no
Actually,
curvature.
you're not basing no, but you're not basing your evidence off of the scientific method. I'm basing my evidence off the scientific method. When we
Said
look at a
you said
lunar,
don't use a telescope. You said use your eyes. If
no,
I
I
use
was
my eyes,
the reason I said that was because I was talking about ships arriving at a port, and the analogy I used was this. What the example I used? I'm sorry.
we
If you watch a
studied
ship from, I'm sorry,
flat earthers studied that. We already studied that.
but see, you have no objective evidence, no evidence based off the scientific method that the Earth is flat. I made 2 points to you. The first. The first point I made was
You're
that
not
if the
literal evidence. If it's something about what you see and you want to know what I'm seeing, then you're not gonna get that kind of
okay,
evidence.
so I want to ask you a question. Do pixies exist?
Do what?
Do pixies exist? You have people out here who have claimed to see pixies and leprechauns. Should we take that? Should we just say, oh, well, since they saw it, it's a fact? Would that make rational sense? Because
No,
that's
it's not.
basically what you're saying. You're saying that's basically what you're implying.
No, that's
You
not what
are,
I'm.
because there's no scientific study you could
What I'm
use
telling you
that
is
can
that
prove that the Earth is flat. It's scientifically impossible for the Earth to be flat. If the Earth was flat, we would fall
here's how
over
nobody
if we
here's how
traveled
no,
at great distances, man.
here's how nobody can prove that the Earth is flat. Here's how. Because flat earthers have already come to this conclusion.
But
Nobody
is
can
it
prove
based
that
off
the Earth
fact or
is
is it
flat.
based off your belief? Is it based off
Nobody
fact or is
can
it
prove
based
that
off
the Earth
belief?
is flat because nobody can get high enough to see the whole Earth. First of all,
You don't have to get high. You don't need to get high enough to prove that the Earth was round.
how high do you think you would
I
have to
already
get
used the examples of ships arriving at a port, and I was about to use the example of
Texas?
lunar eclipses. Because if you look at a lunar eclipse, you can see the reflection on the Earth from the moon, which is spherical. It's a sphere.
You're all over the place, though.
No,
You
that's a
see,
fact. No, this is
every time I try to narrow down a point, you just start bouncing all over the place. You went from pixies to fairies and all this.
no, because the reason I said pixies and fairies and leprechauns is because it sounds like to me you're basing this stuff off of your belief and what you've seen.
Leprechauns
The
are real
reason I
people.
that, huh?
First of all, leprechauns are real people. Leprechauns are black pygmies on the island of Ireland. They're the original
No,
inhabitants. They are the
I'm
original
not
inhabitants.
talking. No, I'm not talking about Homo hobbits. I'm not talking about Homo hobbits, an ancient humanoid
They are
ancestor.
they are the leprechaun
A
people.
leprechaun is a
So
little creature that has sharp teeth that runs around with a pot of gold. There's no evidence that leprechauns
that's not a
exist.
leprechaun. That is they're
There's no.
not that
Okay, let's get back to the point because we're going way off. I'm sorry, but once again,
that is not a leprechaun. Is what I'm
sir.
saying.
So okay, let's get back to the point because the point really isn't about leprechauns. I just used that as an analogy. I apologize. But once again, based off science, we have proven that the Earth is round, global egg shape. Even when you read the Quran and other spiritual books, it says the Earth is round, aka egg shaped. This is a fact because if the Earth,
It don't say that at all in the Bible.
it says in
So
the Quran, it says it in the Quran.
Quran, but you left out the Bible. What's wrong with
Yeah,
the Bible?
Why should I?
It speaks
Because there's
about
a
the
lot of scientific inaccuracies.
well, you
Of
need
you
to state that because you said holy books
Yes,
and
it's a
stuff.
lot of. I'm just saying we have evidence that the Earth is round. There are even the ancient Egyptians theorized this. Even great Greek scientists theorized this.
We got evidence that the Quran is full of shit. So now what? It's like it
Okay,
go both.
okay. The point I'm using is this because the Quran is not really a book of science; it's a religious book. I shouldn't have brought that in. I shouldn't have brought religion in this. I apologize. But once again, based off science, we have photos. We have we have ships to use as an example. We have lunar eclipses to use as an example because during a lunar eclipse, the reflection of the Earth can be seen from the moon, and when we see the reflection of the Earth, it looks like a sphere, which is round. It's not. If it was flat, we would not be able to see that reflection. It's a scientific fact, my man.
Yeah, whatever you call a scientific fact is coming from some other school of thought. Because
No,
here's
it's
the
not
thing:
coming from some other school of thought. It's coming from fact. It's coming from truth.
already talked about before you existed, before I existed.
Yes, and it's
So
based off fact. It's based off truth.
whatever is really happening with that eclipse and whatever the real shape of the earth is about, it's going to be in the oldest and in the ancient of scrolls, text, and peoples. So it's not going to be something that's going to come from your school of thought that you're using right now to try to have any kind of discussion right now. It's going to come from some
No,
ancient people.
we discover new things every day. There was a
If you were
time when
using their information, then you would know what's happening with the eclipse
there
instead
were
of making it
times.
so.
Listen, hold on, my man. There were times when people used to think the Earth was only 10,000 years old. Based off some of the oldest rocks we found, we have discovered that the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and based off other
Who thought
estimations that, huh?
Who
Geologists.
thought geologists?
Geologists.
Who?
So you're telling me geologists have not discovered that the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old? There's a chance it could be older.
Who are
So
the
how,
geologists? Because we talking about pseudoscience, and I want to know who you talking about
we're
when
not
you
talking
talking
about
about.
pseudo. No, we're not talking about
Well,
pseudo. So
well,
you're
that's
telling,
what
okay, centuries and centuries ago, before we came to the conclusion that
don't
the
nobody
Earth
know
was
how
around
old this planet
4.5.
is. That's all
No,
pseudoscience
it
because
could be
don't
older.
nobody
No,
know.
but we do know. No, it could. No, the rocks that we have found are around
Rocks must
4.5
have
billion years old.
you
Hold on.
you cannot date rocks. That's a lie.
Actually, there is a
That's
method
a
that
lie.
they use. There is a
Oh,
method that they use, but that's a level. That's a level above my expertise. But I would recommend you do your research
there's
on
a
that.
method to find out that something is old, but you can't put no date on it.
Wow. Wow.
All you
I've
definitely gonna find out is old, it's ancient, it's definitely been here a long time, but you can't narrow it down to no date and time. It's not about to happen. It's a whole lot of
Why
crap.
not? You do realize technology has advanced, you know.
You do realize that technology is an indoctrinated situation, and that the
No,
more they
no,
advance on
technology has
technology,
advanced. The
if they've
computers we have
advanced,
today are better than the computers we had 20 years ago. The cell phones we have are better than the cell phones we had 15 years ago. Things change. That's a fact. Things get better, some things do get worse. But technology generally has gotten better. That's a fact.
yeah, but the deception of technology is that whatever
It's
the
not
cell
about
phone
the
that we have,
deception. It doesn't about it, it's not about the deception. It's about how advanced technology has become.
it's not an advancement if they giving it to
Okay.
you.
Okay.
If they
Okay.
giving it to you 40 years after they fucking made it, then it's not an it's not no it's a
Okay.
deception. And
Okay,
it's
my
nothing
man, listen to me. Okay, with all due respect, during this discussion that we have had regarding the flat earth, you have just gave me stuff that you believe. You haven't given me any tangible sufficient evidence to prove that the earth is flat, whereas I have given you three reasons why it is impossible for the earth to be flat. It's
and
round.
it's all
Is it a perfect? Hold on, I
pseudoscience
want to ask you
or
this.
sitting on pseudoscience philosophy, and then you're trying to
No, you're
egomaniac
basing it off
your
of
way
pseudoscience
into like
philosophy
we're
or
good.
outdated
It's
science.
not
That's
even
what
about
you're
that.
basing it on.
It's not even about that. If you haven't done the research that it takes to know about flat Earth, then you can't even talk about it. You gotta go do the research. So
um,
you
um,
so you think sitting here talking to me is all you had to do? Nah, I'm cool. I ain't gonna be no flat earther. Listen to him. It's like, Negro, you're gonna have to go out and do your own research.
I've done
Forget,
my research.
no. If you do genuine flat Earth research, genuine, brother, flat Earth research in less than a month, you are gonna be a flat earther. Don't play no games with me. I don't play no games with you. Simple as that. You go out and you do the real test that it takes to find out what's leveled. Why is it leveled? You sit up all night long and you watch the stars. Don't close your eyes. Don't go to sleep. And you watch them stars sit in place when they're supposed to be moving according to different constellations that we've been told. All that. You start to figure this out, but it takes about at least a good month to convince yourself doing some real research that you're not spinning, you're not wobbling, the earth is not turning tilt on no axis. There is
It is.
nobody walking sideways or upside down in Australia. Planes do not fly upside down. A
Bro,
trick
you
plane
just
does.
went. I'm sorry,
A
but you just
commercial,
went way overboard. You just went way overboard.
bruh, whatever it takes, okay, for you to realize that this is you're getting a crammed in the face lesson right now on how to be a flat earther. Okay, first of all,
Okay,
like I
Michael.
said,
It looks like me and you. No disrespect. I'm gonna still keep in
there is no
contact with
disrespect.
you. I'm gonna
There is
still
no
keep
disrespect.
you as a
Hold
friend because
tight.
I like talking to you. But we're
Just
just
hold
gonna
tight.
have to
I'm not
agree to
upset.
disagree.
I'm not upset, brother. Just
No, I
hold
know.
tight.
I'm just saying. I don't understand. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this, my man. But I got I gotta get off. It was good talking to you. Hopefully, we can have this discussion again.
No, hopefully you can go do some real flat earth research because that's what you're going to need. You got to do it
Okay.
yourself and it has to be
Okay.
genuine.
Okay. Well, just send me the paperwork and send me the documents. I'll read into it
Bro,
for
it
you,
ain't
my man.
nobody
Okay.
about send. It ain't about send you nothing. Nobody sent me nothing. I stepped out. I said I don't want to be indoctrinated no more by this system or anything that they previously told me. I want to know. I want to see. If you
Okay.
don't do that, if you don't do that, you're gonna be doing all this all with everybody, and everybody is gonna be growing all around you, and you just still gonna be stuck on. Man, stop that. Ain't nobody got no time for that. You y'all would love to think that we on some craziness, right? But in all reality, flat earthers are people who we don't believe in deception. We don't work off of a belief system, and we don't really care what nobody think, because if you deal with somebody think you're not going to go out and do the test that it takes. You got to go out and do live field tests. People going to think you crazy, but you know what, you go out there and you do it anyway, and you find out and you figure out the numbers for yourself. You prove NASA's numbers right or wrong to yourself. When you do that, you raise questions in yourself and you get the answers yourself. Okay? What has happened is all of the people who did this, they self have built a platform. And we call ourselves flat power now because we have all individually gone out and we have seen it. We seen it. We know it is. This ain't no joke, man. But I hear what you're saying. My people tried to wake me up when I was 27. I'm 45 years old now. YouTube was not out when I was broken in, and when I was told about flat Earth. YouTube wasn't out. I didn't have nobody to confirm it. All I had was these crazy books, and my uncles and my Masonic dad and uncles was trying to indoctrinate me to know about this stuff. And I was just like, oh, I was all dreaded up, and I was just like, man, I'm not really feeling this. This, you know what I'm saying? God got the whole world in his hands. Like, what are y'all trying to tell me? I was on that bull, man. I was on it, man. So instead of my dad and my uncle just like led me astray, and I just let they let and time got, and time come around full circle to where uh, I'm watching these brothers on the YouTube, you know, and they talking about this thing flat earth. And I'm like, this is crazy. Let me see what it. First it was like entertaining, and then it started to wake up the what I had saw in these books. And I'm like, yo, I've seen all of this stuff before. So that gave me the incentive to go and do my own research. So I'm not a flat earther because I sit back and I watch all the flat earth videos. Okay? I didn't have no videos to watch when I found out. So I'm who I am. I'm where I'm at now from my own. I did my own research, man. And I did the science that's necessary to prove to me. All right. And then at the same time, there's plenty of questionable situations going on and numbers that do not add up coming from NASA. All right. So you got plenty of questions in that area, um, but don't get stuck over there because nobody is stopping you from seeing flat Earth. Nobody's stopping you. You can stop yourself all day long. You can stop you so you know how you can stop yourself all day long, man. But ain't nobody stopping you from seeing what it really is. All right. So
I
that's
I got you, my
that's
man. Well, like I said, it was good talking to you. Hopefully, we can do this again, my man. You have a good night.
good night to you.